I'll start it off. First of all, just want to thank God for giving me 14 years on the football field, giving me the ambition that I have, the drive that I have, the family that I have, the foundation I had, the ability to call New Orleans home for the last 14. No, I don't know what happens in the future. I got a lot of love for this game, and I came off this field even more pissed than before because it's pretty much been the epitome of our season, showing energy, showing that we're alive, and then just giving up some dumb penalties and shooting ourselves in the foot. A couple missed tackles, wish you had them back as an entire team. A couple plays which you took advantage of. Sitting at 5-12 for the first time in my career. If anything, it fuels my fire for more. I know this team can be special. If you would have looked at us at the beginning of the season and said, damn, where don't they have dogs 3 games later? You feel gutted, but take the feeling, it shows up at the end of the season. Same thing. Guys you hope were starters, you're going to rely on, hurt, and that's part of the nature of the game. Next man up mentality, but you're always going to look at the what ifs. What if everybody was healthy? What if we were still putting up 35 to 40 points a game? What if, and that's what you always have every offseason. You have those what ifs. All I can look forward to and all I can say is I'm going to be the best version of me that I can be. I'm going to work as for whatever I can this offseason. I'm going to do the same things that I've always wanted to do. It's fervently go after being the best version of me. That's becoming a better athlete, better whatever it is. Hopefully not another interior rusher, but I'm overly blessed for the Saints drafting me with the 24th overall pick. I'm sitting here with gratitude, and also I'm arguing with myself back and forth of what I think could have happened or should have happened or whatever that is. I'm 121.5 sacks deep. Got to be how many TFLs deep, how many tackles, 730 plus tackles, north of 175 TFLs most likely, over 65, over 66 pass deflections, a lot of Pro Bowls, a lot of All-Pros, and I still just want more. So that's where I'm sitting at.
Besides just getting healthy, what do you think is kind of needed for this team to get back to where you guys were?
Man, to gauge where the team was or could be or whatever that was, health would probably be it's the largest part of that. But that's been the last 3 years of the New Orleans Saints. Coaches have always said the best ability is availability. So, if you look beyond that, somewhere in this season, you wish you could have had a couple games back where we missed over 10 tackles. That eliminates a lot of things when you don't have missed tackles. Besides the personal purgatory I felt like I was in this season, the ability to fight out of it, get back to the field and try and help the team in whatever way. That's all that's ever mattered to me, was trying to put your team in a winning position. Even if I'm not the best, show me who is. I still feel like I'm the best.
You say you don't know what's going to happen in the future. What has it meant to be a New Orleans team?
Man, 14 years, especially with what went on this week, just puts it in perspective. A New Orleans New Year's Eve massacre happened. And if that doesn't put life in perspective, I woke up and all my kids were in their beds, sleep. Woke up, wife, sleep, healthy. Everybody wakes up, we're eating breakfast and catch news. One of the first identified bodies was a girl who, mom was going to wake up and not have her baby at home and not know where she is, and she's never coming back. There's kids that, another identified body was he a Palestinian kid from Baton Rouge area? His parents are going to wake up and never have him come back. You put that in perspective, I couldn't imagine. So for me to gripe and say I wish we could have had a better season, this last week hit different. And I'm looking around knowing that, I had a cousin in town, and I was like, I was texting him all morning because I didn't get a text back. I knew he went out that night. I was like, I hope he didn't have bourbon, Luckily, he woke up late, and I was like, all right, we're all good. We're all accounted for. But again, there's people that didn't have that same text back. I don't even know how you deal with that. So to sit with New Orleans and try and figure out a way to get with, the Greater New Orleans Fund, and even I'm sure, got people over there like United Way is helping out as well. But you have an owner like Gail Benson who immediately contribute. We've got, people around me contributing, whether that's Casey Wassman over at Wassman Sports or whatever, reaching out, trying to figure out a way to help New Orleans with everything that happened. The Sugar Bowl being delayed by a day, and small problems. When you think about how many lives are lost or affected. And so at the end of the game, I think it allowed me to try and process all of it. As much as I, love football, as much as I want to hit people, as much as I love hitting people, it's a micro compared to what's happened this past week. So I'll deal with the season as it is. I'm sure shortly. I'm sure there's talks to be had. I'm not sure how that works in an era of uncertainty for probably the first time. But like the city, I love the city because it's resilient. I love the Saints because they've always been able to bounce back. I've trusted up top for a long time, so if this is the first time I have questions, I'm sure there will be answers to be found.
Do you have questions?
Don't we all? In a 5-12 season, there will be questions. In a season where our role was forced to be limited, and then you see the effects, there's always going to be questions. Again, it's sort of a micro, to be blessed to play on a team for 14 years with the same team, that's a blessing. There's no aspect that I can be like, dang, I wish I could have, because I've done it all. Except for a Super Bowl, I guess. That's what I want to hunt here. I want to, I don't even know how not to bleed black and gold. Off the edge, preferably.
You say air of uncertainty about your own situation, but first time you felt it around this team as well?
I mean, all the situation, right? 5-12 season, uncertainty, What moves up top will be made, Interim head coach Rizzi takes over, but again, he's on a half-depleted roster. Still breathes life into the team. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? I'm sure they'll open up a head coach search if they already haven't figured that part out. I'll figure, whatever that is. Whether they pivot and want to go younger or whatever that looks like, I'm sure there'll be talks. All I know is what I know, and all I can do is what I can do. Again, when you get opportunities, you have to make the most of those. TFLs, tackles, making sure you're a run stopper, making sure you're one of the best pass rushers the Saints have ever seen. When you get drafted, you got chances and abilities. Are you making the most of your opportunities?
Seems like a very trivial question in the wake of both the subjects we just talked about, but do you have any thoughts on, obviously they did that last play just to get everyone fired up about Mike Evans? Do you wish you guys had stopped them?
Of course. I mean, you knew where the ball was going. Yeah. They ran one play and you knew exactly where they were going to try and target. Credit to Mike Evans, he made some incredible plays today. That's why he's been a perennial 1,000-yard guy. He fell one time and still snagged the ball a foot and a half above his head from a seating position. There's a reason why he's all-pro, Pro Bowler, Mike Evans. One of the greats that sort of gets overlooked somehow, year in, year out. Reminisce of, Marcus Colston. Except at least Mike Evans had Pro Bowls, which makes sense. Again, Baker Mayfield, for as active as he was today, you feel like he limited him in the first half, and then he did a lot with his feet the second half. And he can run, but he clearly had that mission to somehow beat us today, and that's on us more than it is on them, because exactly where they were targeting. He was able to scramble up the middle. The thing is that we didn't did not stop today.
You mentioned Rizzy before, but what would that you had 8 weeks with him? Just what was kind of your impression of working with him?
He's clearly head coach material. You know, obviously, you know, whatever Mrs. Benson and the up top does, you know, president, GM, however that works. As a soldier, I don't think I've ever looked at the high level that goes into looking for a new head coach. This will be the third head coach of my career. I've had a lot of stability for all my life, so to go into instability, I mean, high school had one head coach, college had one head coach, league now 3 head coaches, 2 in the span of 3 years. If you look at Rizzy and as a head coach, and you look at DA, short stint here, and whatever happens.
It seemed like he was emotional coming out of the locker room talking to us. How was that scene in particular?
Knowing that you're going to the last game, again, you have opportunities present themselves. You have to be able to take advantage of them. I mean, we've watched Spencer Rattler sort of blossom, you know, show us glimpses of what could be. Again, 5-12 season, what could be doesn't mean it will be. There's always going to be uncertainty.
He said a bunch of the players said some really nice things to him. Was that like a post-game speech type of situation? Or?
I mean, I'm sure everybody's appreciative with the, you know, leadership qualities that Rizzy brought in. The clear cut, you know, this is how we will go about things. You have a clear directive. You're able to follow. I think that, you know, Rizzy is a great human being as well as a pretty damn good head coach for a short stint that we saw him at. I'm always going to look at it like, you know, look at what this will be, probably go down with 2011 season. You know, what could be if we had beat, what could have happened had we beat, you know, the Niners back in 2011. What could be when, you know, after we beat Dallas Cowboys, had everybody been healthy. How do you lose your starting quarterback not once but twice in a season for, what is it, a total of like 7 games or something like that, 8 games? It's half the season. You don't have your starting receiver 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? You know, you wish you had Pete Werner and Double D playing next to each other all 17 games. How many games have we missed there? How many, you know, we started off with Paulson Adebo and Marshawn Lattimore. You miss out Will Harris, and sometimes you're missing out Tyron. Man, again, this is going to go down. It's like, damn, we could have been. You know, this bright light with Brian Bazee playing his ass off in the interior, as we knew he was a pass rusher, but starting to learn to play the run the way he blossomed. You knew Chase and Carl were good players. You know, you see the surgence of Nathan Shepard, and just the way he's accepted. You know, he was always a good 3, and then he became I think a better nose. Guys like, you know, Bink or Colin Saunders, and just embracing the role. You know, in his mind, he's a monster nose, and he started to show that towards the end of the year. Is again, it's going to go in the off season. Just look, how best do I get back to early opportunities? That's where I'm going to leave it at. You know, maybe you know, go to the off season, figure things out.